Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today's setup is a setup of the Avalon adventure board game from Dungeon Crusade, Book 1, Genesis of Evil, created by Rodger, published by Groovus Games. So, I still haven't read all the rules to Dungeon Crusade, but the adventures board game here, the Avalon Adventure board game, is only like 6 pages, so I should be able to get into that at least. And this is recommended to get your heroes started. Might gather a few little trinkets here and there in your adventures before your first journey into the dungeon. So that's what we're going to do today. Try to follow this book. This is the map. That is not exactly all of it, but what we can get in the camera for right now. So, starting at the beginning, the objective. Heroes will traverse the land of Avalon, explore various areas, locate 3 randomly scattered runes of eternity that shatter the curse on the dungeon. So, there's a note here, the player, if a player plays the Avalon Adventure board game, they do not get a shopping phase at the start of playing Dungeon Crusade. It is simply skipped. So, you may get gold, you may get other artifacts, weapons, but you can't go to the market first, so that's one thing. But you do get to have them in your inventory. So it lists the components that are all needed. I have all those pretty much laid out. I haven't punched everything out of the game, but at least what I would need for this. So the setup. First, place the board game in the center of the table. Then place 6 level 1 hero cards directly under the board. So we have the board game there. And then underneath it, we do have our heroes. They're I grabbed, and they don't match exactly, but I thought I'd add a little bit to it. But I grabbed some painted miniatures. I'm not a painter, so these came with the game, but from Dungeon Alliance. So I have at least a character to represent each of these 6 potential heroes. And have all the starting indicators available. I don't have to do their weapons because the combat is in this particular adventure is more streamlined, so I don't have to worry about all that. Like I say, I still have 60 pages of small print rules to read before we can start that. Okay, so next step, we have the board up. We have 6 level 1 hero cards, and then we gather the 6 initiative tokens. That's these guys here, numbered 1 through 6. Let's see. We place the numbers, and we're just going to go in order here. Player 1, player 2, player 3, 4, 5, and 6. So that's how our players are set up. 6 rejuvenation tokens. I have those here. Oh, we just put those there so I can't see them there either. Having to do some camera swapping and switching, and So hopefully this works. This is kind of new to me, what I'm trying to do here, but wanted to at least go through the setup, and then maybe later today or tomorrow I will start the actual adventure. Okay, we have next we have adventure cards. 3 different types of colored banners: green, tan, and red. I go at the top where it reads unexplored, and I kind of have the top cropped off, but what we'll have here is these guys. These are the adventure cards. You can see the different colors. They correspond to the different colors of the map where we'll be traversing. And then next we have, it says to put all those up at unexplored, but we're going to be digging through them here in a little bit also. Then we have treasure chest decks. So that will involve, I'm telling you, there's a lot of material here. Okay, here is our treasure chest decks. Let's see, green and then blue and purple. Let's see, I have to move those up a little bit so they're all in the right place so you can see them at least. Now these are also color coded, obviously you can see that. These are junk treasure, common, uncommon, rare, epic, and legendary. So we're going to be building a treasure chest deck because there's possibility that we will come across a treasure chest in our journeys, and we want to be able to grab something from those. So I've kind of pre-shuffled these already, but we'll do another one before we actually do this. So we're going to create 3 treasure chest decks. We don't look at the cards, obviously. So the first deck is bronze. So we're going to have 3 junk, 8 common, 3 uncommon, and 1 rare in the deck. So excuse me, we'll take this deck first, and then we take off the 3 bottom ones. So that is that part of it, and then we're going to take this deck, and we're going to have 8 out of this bunch. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then we have, what do we say, 3? 3 from the uncommon. This is tricky. Okay, 3. 1, 2, 3. And then we have 1 of these guys. Whoop. So we have 1 there. Okay, that will be our bronze deck. And I'm just going to set that here. It says bronze there, too, like this one says silver and gold, but that one's not quite in the here in the camera, but it will be. It'll be on the board anyway. And then I will, well, matter of fact, let's just do it now. Kind of shuffle them up, and then I'll probably shuffle them up again before I start. So that is the bronze deck. Okay, next is our silver deck, and we have 3 junk loots. 1, 2, 3. And we have, go to 8 uncommon. So we jump up, do 8 of these guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 of those. And then we have 3 rare. 1, 2, 3. And then I believe we have 1 of these, 1 epic. So these haven't been shuffled yet, so let's do that a little bit. 1 epic. And then let's shuffle them around. And they will go on the silver. That's the silver. Okay, next we do the gold deck. So again, we start off with 3 junk. 1, 2, 3. And then we'll jump up to have 8 rare, which is here, I believe. I'm not choosing this card, so let's make sure. Now, let's see. 8 rares of blue. Is that blue? Yeah, that's blue. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then we have 3 epic. 1, 2, 3. And 1 legendary. Well, this is the first use of this deck, so let's shuffle them up a little bit. Okay, 1 legendary. This will be our gold deck. Shuffle them up. That is our gold deck. Okay, so we will not be needing any of these anymore. I believe, if I remember right, Rodger said there's 183 of these loot cards. Okay, so we have our treasure chest decks now completed. And they have an important note here in the rule book. When the heroes obtain any treasure chest, it cannot be opened until the very end of the game. So we don't get to even look and see what's there until we end this game. So now we go to placing the runes across Avalon. Now, these are our runes, and you can see that they're colored. Trying to look here. There's the red. Green, yellow, and red. These are green, those are yellow, these are red. So, we're going to actually draw randomly from these decks 3 cards from each deck, and then place the rune in that particular location. So, I don't remember who's what, so we're just going to shuffle them around. There's red, or green, this is yellow, and these will be red. So everybody's kind of shuffled around there. And then let's see. Okay, so we're going to just reach in and randomly draw 3 cards. We'll draw this one, and we'll draw this one, and we'll draw this one. So these are the green ones. So we have first the Dungeon of Daggeroth. This is the green ones. Green up here. Dungeon of Daggeroth. So we're going to have one go there. Next, we're going to have Old Orchard Grove. So Old Orchard Grove is right there. And then we're going to have Evergreen. Evergreen. That's probably sitting right in front of me. I don't see it for some reason. Weatherbrook right there. Oh, there it is. Okay, so those are the green ones. We'll reach in here and grab 3. Now, these would be for yellow, but these are kind of tan here. So we'll grab that one. Then we'll grab that one. Then let's see, let's grab that one. Okay, Ren's Crossing. Okay, that's there. Oops, wrong color. Put the yellow in there. Next is Salem Port. Salem Port. Way up here. Next is House of Faith. House of Faith is right there. Okay, so that's those guys. So for the last ones, the red ones, we're going to draw 3 of these cards. We'll draw that one, and we'll draw that one, and we'll draw that one. Okay, the Tomb of Kaladar is up first. And this is going to be off the screen, but one below here. Next is Ashera's Tower. Let's see. Oh, well, they're right next door to each other. That'll be good. And Sanctum of Dread. Sanctum of Dread. He's right there. Okay. So that is where we have to go. We start up here. But those are the places we have to go to find. Obviously, there's 3 that we have to find. 1 good one in each one of the colors. And 2 that are not good. They're fake. So we have all the runes placed. That's almost it for setup. We'll look at summary of a turn, how we play each turn. We move the war banner. You can only move to adjacent, so here, here, or here. This is not adjacent since it just hits the corner. It has to share a boundary. So then what we'll do is roll, let's say we move to here. We would roll a 12-sided die, and then each one of these cards, as you notice, probably, and we can get it to focus. Come on. Well, for some reason it's not wanting to focus. But anyway, they like this is flip. Come on. Hold on. Still another problem with this particular camera. It only gives you 30 minutes. So. But I'm not quite sure why it's not focusing. It should focus. Anyway, it's not. Anyway, you roll a 12-sided die. 1 to 2 give you one thing. 3 to 4 give you something. 5, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12. So each one of those has its own adventure for that particular. And then you basically you move across the map, one space at a time, having one adventure at a time. You may have battles, and we have battle boards for that, for outdoor and dungeon, that we will move our counters over onto and fight it out. And like I say, the battles in the adventure portion of the game are very simple. You're basically rolling a die, and you can add your strengths, and if your modified roll is higher than the enemy's toughness, they take a hit. If it's not, then you take a hit. So that's basically, like I say, very simplified. It won't be near as interesting as when we get into a dungeon, but that's how this works. So like I said, we move our war banner around. If it's unexplored, then we roll a die. If we already have one of these in there, then we roll a d6. And I'm assuming that those are the worst encounters. So we would be placing these little guys everywhere we went, so we would know if we had been there before or not. So you want to try to not go to places you have been. So because I think re-encountering the area is not going to be healthy. Okay, after an event or encounter has been processed, you're free to recover any rune that resides in the location, and then you start over again. So that's pretty much it. Like I say, battles, just as an example here, if we have a battle, we would well, the example they give is you roll a 6-sided die twice, and then you would come down here. Let's say you got 1 through 6, so you roll 2 of them basically, and then if it tells you randomly, that's who. And again, I'm just kind of going with the example. That you randomly choose 2, and then you would place them on the battle map, and then whatever enemies it shows to come up with. Say we'll go through. Let's go through this. Just a quick example here. So let's say we had Melhiliac and Sir Brennus. They come out, and then we are told that they're facing 2 skeletal grunts. So basically these guys, and you'd have to, each one would have to fight the other. Let's put them like that. And that's actually that's one of the things. Obviously the standees. That's why I thought the miniatures would look good, at least from the top down. I do have this angle, so that might work too. So the camera quality is obviously not near as good, and maybe later I may update it, but I'm not sure I want to right now buy another $600 camera, because this is something I probably use some, but it's, you can see it. You can't really make out details, not near like you can from this angle, but it works, especially with the standees. It's going to allow you to see who's doing what. So anyway, that's that, and each one has to attack the one they're assigned to. In other words, if Sir Brennus kills this one, he can't go over here and help. It's just they're having to battle it right, each against their own opponent. And again, if Melhiliac was killed, this skeletal grunt can't come over here and help. So basically you're fighting. Each character is fighting one bad guy. So each bad guy will have a health and a toughness. And in this case, there are 7. The bad guys are 7, and health are 7 toughness and 2 health. So again, you would come and you would roll a d12. Let's say Melhiliac is fighting. He's rolling a d12. He has he has a strength of 3. So he rolled a 5 plus a 3 is an 8. So that is equal to or higher than the toughness. Yeah. I forgot to switch the deal, but anyway, you see what I'm saying. He rolled a 5 modified to an 8. So he's got this skeletal grunt has 1 hit, and he only has 2. Only has 2 health. So the second one's going to kill him. And then you would go over to well, I guess technically this is Sir Brennus. This is Melhiliac because he's got the axe. You go over there and you'd roll the die again. See, well, Sir Brennus he's got a strength of 2, so he still would have, with 5, he still would have done good. So then Melhiliac has a strength of 3. He rolled a 12, and we don't have, as far as I know, at least in the adventure game, there's no like critical hits. So rolling the best. So each one of those guys now are down one health, and they have 1 health left. So that's how battle goes. If you roll less than, after you modify it, if you're less than the opponent's toughness, then you would take 1. And then what you would do then is you go down to your character and reduce their health by 1. I still think I'm going to laminate these. I may not right now, but I think that'd help these slide a little bit easier too. I'm wary that I'm going to damage the card, and I think laminating those would be a good idea, in my opinion. Okay, so that's how the combat works, and basically that's it. I mean, you go through each area until you find all 3 of the runes, and then if you survive, you go to start your dungeon. You can let's see, one thing. Let's cover real quick. If a character dies, now we do have these potions. Each hero can use 1 time a potion that you regain 3 health and 3 essence. So that's how that works. So you have 3 of those, or 6 of those, so 1 for each of the heroes. But if a hero dies, now we're going to move this up, the fate track up. It's going to go up. If it gets to here, you've lost, and everything's done. So, but the bonus is that let's say Sir or Melhiliac here gets defeated by the skeletal grunt. Now he does have a chance to come back. There's you can roll a what is it? You roll the three-sided dice. Why am I not seeing that? I know I saw that somewhere. Well, I'm going from memory here, so I could be wrong. But you roll the three the actually a D3. It's a six-sided dice, but it has two of each. 1, 2, 3. That would you get that much health and essence back, and then you can you roll two 12-sided die, and one color gives you health and one color gives you. And I hope that's right. I know I read that. I'm hoping I didn't read that in the actual rules, which I have not really read a lot of the rules. I mean the Dungeon Crusade rules. I've just read through this adventure game. Yeah, okay, there it is. Fate track. That was what I was sitting there looking at. Say, so he dies. You remove both of the clips on the hero card. You take a white D3, a red D12, and an orange D12. And the white D3, you get that much health and essence restored. And then the red D12 is health, and the orange D12 is essence. So you come back and come back to the card. You would remove these, and then you'd roll the die, and then you would replace wherever they ended up. Now I don't know this, and this is something maybe Rodger will see this, or I may post something and ask a question. I'm assuming that, of course, that you can't go over your starting. So you know, if Melhiliac died and he rolled a 12, he rolled say a 3 on the first one, and started at 3, and then he rolled a 12, that'd give him 15. But his starting is 12. So I don't know if you can. That's one thing I do not know. I don't know if you can go above your starting when you basically rejuvenate yourself. Resurrected by the angel is how the book puts it. But so I'm not sure about that. I would assume you don't go higher for a resurrection. I would assume you don't go higher than what you started with initially. But that's just me. And maybe before I start playing, I'll actually know what we have. So I think that pretty much covers the setup. Like I say, it's not terribly complicated. The game itself, the board game itself, is fairly easy. Like I say, it's 6 pages of rules. Setup is not extremely difficult, and so everything now is we have basically the map set up. We have our loots, bronze, silver, and gold loot deck set up. We have our adventure cards set out here. We have our banner in our starting position, and all of our heroes are primed and ready and numbered. So the next video will be the board game, Avalon, the board game. I appreciate you stopping by. I hope this maybe helps when you get ready to start up for this first part of the adventure. Enjoy. Happy dungeoning. We'll see you later.